In 2009, deep beneath the deserts of Iran, inside a heavily guarded nuclear facility, machines began to malfunction. Centrifuges spun out of control. Engineers were baffled, and uranium enrichment progress was mysteriously delayed. But there were no bombs, no missiles, and no infiltrators. Just a line of code, invisible, elegant, and lethal. This is not science fiction. The computer virus, the bug, but the IT community call it Stuxnet, the first digital weapon designed to destroy physical infrastructure. A cyber weapon so advanced it redefined warfare forever. This is AfterBreach. Stay tuned. In the early 2000s, the world watched with growing concern as Iran pursued a controversial nuclear program. A nuclear program is a country's plan or effort to use nuclear technology. It can be for peaceful uses like producing energy, or for military purposes like building nuclear weapons. For example, Iran's nuclear program included efforts to enrich uranium, which can also be used in both energy and bomb, depending on how far it's enriched. Western intelligence agencies feared that uranium enrichment at Natanz, Iran's key nuclear facility, was not just for energy but for weapons. Sanctions weren't working. Diplomacy had stalled, and a direct military strike too risky. So a secret alliance formed between the United States National Security Agency, NSA, and Israel's Unit 8200. Their mission was to sabotage Iran's nuclear ambitions without ever setting foot inside the country. Israel's involvement was important to the United States because the former had deep intelligence about operations at Natanz that would be vital to making the cyber attack a success. The operation was codenamed Olympic Games, and at its heart, a cyber weapon the world had never seen before. Stuxnet wasn't just a virus, it was a masterpiece. It was engineered to target Siemens Step 7 controllers, the very equipment used to operate centrifuges at Natanz. A centrifuge is a machine that spins things really fast. In a nuclear program, it's used to separate uranium particles by weight. Imagine spinning a bottle of mixed sand and water. Over time, the heavy stuff sinks. A centrifuge does something similar but with gas to get the uranium needed for nuclear fuel or bomb. But there was a problem. How do we get inside Natanz? That was the first hurdle. The facility wasn't connected to the internet, no remote access, total air gap. So the attackers used the oldest trick in the book, human error. Infected USB drives were planted in places where Iranian contractors might pick them up and plug them in. It silently spread through USB drives. No internet connection needed. It wormed its way across system until it found very specific conditions. It was looking for three things: a particular model of programmable logic controllers, also called PLC, a specific frequency range, and a certain operational logic. Think of a PLC as a tiny computer that controls machines. It's often used in factories. You can program it to do things like turn motors on and off, control temperature, start and stop a conveyor belt, In Natanz, the PLCs were used to manage the centrifuges, how fast they spin, when to stop or start. Specific ranges here refers to how fast the centrifuges were spinning. A specific frequency range is a sweet spot where the machine works well. If it spins too fast or too slow, it can wear out or break. Stuxnet messed with this. The last thing it was looking for was a certain operational logic. This is a set of rules a machine follows to do its job. Think of it like a recipe. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do that. In the case of a centrifuge, the operation logic might include rules like spin at this speed at this time. Stuxnet altered that logic, so the machines did unexpected things without alerting the operators. So once the virus found these conditions and confirmed it was in the right place, it struck. But here's the key. It didn't destroy all at once. Instead, it randomly sped up and slowed down centrifuges, making them tear themselves apart. All this while sending false feedback to engineers. The operators at Natanz had no idea what was happening. The system told them everything was normal while the machinery self-destructed. Here is a twist. Stuxnet was never meant to be found. But malware has a life of its own. A programming error caused it to spread to computers outside of Natanz. When an engineer left Natanz and connected their computer to the internet, the American and Israeli made back failed to recognize that its environment had changed. The code replicated on the internet and was subsequently exposed for public dissemination. Within weeks, cybersecurity firms around the world detected a mysterious worm infecting thousands of machines, from Iran to India, Indonesia, and even the United States. In June 2010, a security firm in Belarus detected a strange worm on an Iranian client system. And soon after, researchers at Symantec and Kaspersky began unraveling what would become one of the most complex species of malware ever discovered. It was too advanced to be the work of criminals, too targeted, too clean. When researchers at Symantec and Kaspersky dug deeper, they found digital fingerprints, encrypted payloads, zero-day exploits, and behavior unlike anything they had ever seen. One analyst famously said, "It's like opening a Ferrari engine. Everything is perfectly polished." This wasn't written by one guy in a basement. By the time Iran realized what had happened, it was too late. Nearly 1,000 uranium-enriching centrifuges, delicate, high-speed machines crucial to its nuclear program, had been rendered useless. They hadn't been bombed. They hadn't been physically touched. They were silently sabotaged from inside. Lines of code had done what missiles could not. Crippled Iran's nuclear ambitions without firing a single shot. For a while, the source remained a mystery. But in 2012, the pieces began falling into place. Cybersecurity researchers and investigative journalists traced the worm back to a joint effort by the United States and Israel. The operation was codenamed Olympic Games. The malware that made it happen? Stuxnet. Though neither government officially admitted involvement, the evidence was overwhelming. The world watched in shock. Some praised it as a surgical bloodless strike, a technical masterpiece of espionage. Others saw it as a dangerous escalation, the dawn of a new kind of warfare. Because once a digital weapon like this is created, it can't be uncreated. The questions came hard and fast. Is cyber warfare the same as an act of war? Who gets to decide when digital sabotage is justified? And what happens when this kind of power, silent, invincible, and devastating, falls into the wrong hands? With Stuxnet, a line had been crossed, and the world was forced to confront a chilling possibility that the future of conflict might no longer play out on battlefields, but in code. And in opening that door, did we unknowingly open Pandora's box for a new era of digital warfare? Stuxnet was the first, but it wouldn't be the last. It was a proof of concept and proof of power. Proof that a few kilobytes of code, cleverly written, precisely targeted, would have the same impact as bombs and boots on the ground. And others were watching. In the years that followed, more digital weapons emerged from the shadows. Flame, a cyber espionage tool so complex it was practically malware with a PhD. Duke, another sibling in the Stuxnet family designed to spy and prepare the battlefield. Then came the heavy hitters. NotPair, masquerading as ransomware but designed to destroy. It brought global businesses to their knees, causing over 10 billion in damages. And there was SolarWinds, a stealthy supply chain hack that infiltrated US government agencies and Fortune 500 companies. Not with brute force, but with quiet, patient precision. Stuxnet had changed the rules and everyone was playing catch-up. It taught us that cyber weapons don't just disrupt emails or deface websites. They can shut down power grids, cripple hospitals, contaminate water systems, and interfere with democracy itself. Today, the battlefield isn't just land, sea, air, or even space. There's a fifth domain now, and that's cyberspace. Nations are investing billions, not just to defend their critical infrastructure, but to build arsenals of digital weapons. Armies have cyber divisions, governments launch preemptive cyber strikes, and intelligence agencies now recruit hackers alongside spies. It's an arms race, but the missiles are invincible. And the front lines are everywhere. All of this from a worm that slipped into a network over a decade ago. A piece of code that changed the world, a warning we were still trying to understand. Stuxnet didn't just infect machines, it infected history, and its legacy is still unfolding. A new era was born where invisible weapons cross borders in milliseconds, strike without warning, and vanish without a trace. This has been AfterBreach. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the dark world of cyber warfare, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Which cyber weapon should we cover next? Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and above all, stay safe.